Good evening. I nearly got mixed up there. I wasn't sure whether it was morning, afternoon, or evening. It's been such a busy day, so much going on, and but it's lovely to be here today. Goddesses of the Round Table, and we have myself, Yvonne J. Douglas, June Allen from Yard of Greatness, and we've got Jackie Booth from Simply Me, and we've got Hayley Cutler, our yoga expert, Teresa Fowler. What's your new title, Teresa? Tell the people.
I'm Quantum Mother Teresa.
Quantum Mother Teresa. We love that. We love that. And we have the Gail Edwards, our brand expert. Yay! So lovely to have you all here today. Thank you for joining. And I hope you're watching us either live on the Goddesses of the Round Table, and I've also managed to cross-post this onto my Facebook page, so that's great. So welcome. Today we are talking about authentic friendships. And what do authentic friendships mean to you? So it's a fairly big topic and it could be quite straightforward, but sometimes it's actually not, you know, and especially when you've been in relationships that may have been toxic, but you may not have recognized the toxicity of the relationship or friendship. And so you come away and you wonder, what does it really mean to be in an authentic relationship or friendship? So I'm going to open this out to you ladies before I start talking about some of my experiences and sharing my tips. So the floor is open. Who would like to go first?
Good.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is a subject that absolutely fascinates me, actually, about authentic friendships and what actually makes an authentic friendship, especially as we get older. Because I think when we're younger, we tend to bond with people, number one, who are very much like us. Okay, so whether it be culture or community, we share something that's very obviously in common. And those friendships, as we get older, we start to grow and expand. In my experience, very few of those friendships survive the test of that time. You know, it's not that we don't speak anymore, because of course we do, but well, some of us we do, but it's just that the friendship just changes because people grow. Our lives take different paths. And you then get to an older age whereby maybe you've got a family, you know, you're starting to think about your career choices in a different way. You realize that maybe that choice you made when you were 21 is not quite the same choice at 41. You know, we just start to change. And I think that we start to look for people who aren't necessarily exactly like us like before, or, you know, because we're not really looking for raving partners as we might have been in our 20s. You know, in our 40s, we're looking in our 40s in our 40s and 50s, I don't know about anyone else, but for me, what I'm looking for are people who, even though we may not necessarily be the same, but we share values. We also share a vision. In my case, it's for the common good, you know. And I think also I've become much more accepting of people, but I've also become a lot less tolerant as well. So it's like a real dichotomy, right? Because the things I'd accept in my 20s and even in my 30s, I'm not accepting those now. You know, I'm very clear about my boundaries in terms of what to me is a healthy friendship, and things like, you know, that toxicity, those little needling things that sometimes we can't even put a name to. you know, the little jealousies, the little betrayals, the little disloyalties that we kind of let go before. And think, oh, well, you know, it's just, yeah, she's always like that. But now it's like, oh, hell no. You know, my peace means too much. I always say I like to sleep at night. I love my sleep. Right? I like to sleep at night, and anything that's going to disturb that sleep, it soon gets short shrift. So that's how it's kind of evolved for me. So, you know, yeah, I'm now in my 50s, and I would say that the majority of my friendships are authentic because they're based on something very different than before. And I'm, you know, just looking to grow that more and more.
You know, yeah, I do relate to what you're saying, Gail. And, you know, what I've noticed, though, is that women tend to not lose, but let go of friends more than men. A lot of men seem to have their friendship groups from their school days, and they're still friends. And I'm not sure what that's about, because it's very different for women, for a lot of women anyway. And I certainly haven't got, you know, my friendship group isn't comprised of my school friends. And I've changed friends a lot over the years, a lot. And I do believe that at the time they served a purpose, or not served a purpose, you don't, yeah, but they did. They, you know, there was a kindred spirit thing going on for me and my friendship group. You know, I felt that I realized I was attracted to a lot of friends who had sort of similar experiences as myself. And because of that, unbeknown to me and to them, I guess, was the toxicity in those relationships, because we were quite dysfunctional, but we didn't necessarily know that. And so when you have, like, it's like a trauma bond, I guess, a trauma bond, and you come together because you've got similar traumas, and so you're all lacking from this self-esteem. You're all probably carrying a bit of shame. You're all probably carrying a lack of self-love and self-respect. And so in that mix, yes, you love your friends, and I can honestly say that I did, but there was always these little, as you said, Gail, these little undercurrent digs of jealousy. The jealousy thing was very big, I found. And I think I've talked about this before, like when I lost weight, and there was this jealousy thing coming in, you know. So as you develop and as you move into more of a, as I said, Gail said, a peaceful life, you do start to and you start healing your traumas. Those friends just fall away, and it's inevitable. It's absolutely inevitable.
Yeah,
but
I'd agree with that. Oh, sorry, go on. Do you want to go, Teresa?
Yeah, I was just going to say, yes, that is inevitable, because that's that universal law, right? What no longer serves you, when you surrender to it, you let go. But you also leave space, or create space, for the new to come in. So I mean, I would say it's especially about the boundaries thing, Gail. When the more you grow older and the more you see and know your own space and trust your own space, then yeah, your boundaries are strong. And but you do create that space to allow the new to come in. I mean, it's crazy since I started traveling, definitely. So we're talking, yeah, how old was I? About 52. I've met so many amazing people because we're connecting on it. The more authentic you are, the more you're living in your heart. You just make connections like that. And I've made more real, authentic relationships than I have in the previous 40, 50 years.
Yeah. Agreed.
That's so beautiful.
Agreed.
Yeah.
What would you say? What would you say, though, makes the relationship more authentic?
Because even when you're tested, you know, because you're always going to be tested, you're never going to agree with everybody, right? We're not supposed to be here to agree with everybody. But even when, you know, you're like triggered because they might do something that you don't quite like, you can both sit down and talk about it as adults and realize that the love is still there, without going, oh, well, you said this and you did this and then. There's none of that petty BS or underlying jealousy or tension or something, you know, you can come together as real adults and go, okay, this behavior of yours I didn't quite like, and it made me feel like this, as opposed to playing the blame game.
The other thing that kind of came up was you were talking about saying about that, Gail, is I think that sometimes when we talk about authentic friendships, it's easy to kind of think about the dysfunction in the other person and think about, well, you know, they're this and they're that, and nobody really. And I think the important thing about authentic relationships is not just what you do in relationships, but where do you go emotionally in relationships? Because obviously our parents are going to set a sort of blueprint or black print to how we show up. They're our first relationships. So especially if you haven't done a lot of work, you know, my relationships have changed. My friendships have changed a lot over the years, especially since I've been doing therapy, because I realized that, you know, I had a lot of toxic friendships as well. And I remember my therapist saying to me one week, did you choose those friends? And the light bulb went off. I was like, oh my God, I've been accepting crumbs. Either I've been accepting crumbs or I've been allowing people in my life that are there to take, but didn't bring anything to the table.
Exactly.
You know? So that was a huge light bulb for me. My therapist was like, did you choose it? Tell me who you chose. Or did these people just show up and you kind of open the chair and let them sit down and eat?
And just
so that was a game changer for me, that. But also that as well as understanding what I bring to the table, understanding that, you know, how does my relationship with my parents and stuff like that, how does that impact how I show up in my friendships, and what work do I need to do around friendships that, you know, just breaking different patterns and stuff like that that related to the relationship with my family that are not that healthy. But yeah, and just kind of owning that, you know, I haven't always found friendships that easy, to be honest, because any sort of intimacy for me, my pattern is that it's always felt quite dangerous, felt quite emotionally dangerous getting close to people. So my thing is giving myself time to get to know people, giving myself time to, you know, build a friendship gently. I mean, some of you, I mean, Yvonne, we've known each other for years, and I only feel like now when we get together that I just feel that we can really sit down and chat, and I feel safe. You know what I mean? But that's taken quite a long time, and you know, but that's because of my that's because of my past, and I find it really hard to kind of allow myself to kind of really just surrender to it. But yeah, I think self-awareness is so important, and really taking ownership of not just what you do in relationship, but what, you know, where do you go, what do you bring to friendships, and not looking at the other person and just talking about their dysfunction. What about your dysfunction? Because we've all got it.
Exactly.
Sure. You know what? You raised a really, do you know what? Sorry, a really important point about, do you feel safe in the friendship? Because when you said that, I just went straight back to a couple of women, older women that I used to be close with, and they emotionally abused me. Oh my gosh. And it's just coming to me like it was proper emotional abuse. And when I finally stepped away from them, I was like, do you know what? I've had enough of this, and I no longer want to be your friend. I'm leaving this friendship because this is just ridiculous. Because no matter what I did, they always found a way to twist me up and make me feel bad, and I'll be in tears. So yeah, so friends can actually emotionally abuse you as well. Absolutely. And it's imperative that you feel safe in your friendship, safe enough to be vulnerable, to open up, you know, especially if you want that real authentic friendship. Because, you know, I've learned that it's better to have 5 close friends in your inner circle than to have like maybe 10, 20 friends. That doesn't work. Because I used to be the person that used to like loads of friends, you know, a bit of a social butterfly type thing. But I learned from one of my good friends that she said to me, you don't need a lot of people in your inner circle. Keep it as small as possible. And that's what I've done. And it's so much more manageable. And I can trust the people that are in my inner circle. So if anybody gets into my inner circle, they are call themselves lucky. I got to just like, you know, start protecting yourself. Absolutely. So Jackie and Hayley, what's your experience? Come in, please.
It's quite interesting. I was listening to June and thinking about it's really important that you know yourself and what you put out there, because you were saying that men seem to have friends all the way from school all the way to, you know, when they're quite old, and they can easily manage those relationships. But I think men, their nature is very logical and very black and white. They are who they are at any point in time, and they accept each other for that. Whereas women, we're constantly evolving. You know, we go from this little girl into this young lady, into this blossoming woman. Then we start to explore the world a bit more. We've got different interests and we want to fly. You know, we're like butterflies. We come out
mothers.
Yeah. We come out, and you know, and I know a lot of people who have got friends from like primary school, and they're still good friends now. And when I see those women, they haven't actually moved on in their life, that they've not explored what the world is really about, you know. And I think my own personal experience is that I was quite isolated as a child. My mum was quite picky about who I was allowed to play with. So there was only sort of like one family where their kids were all right in her books. But those kids, sometimes they were quite emotionally abusive. They were just jealous because of my isolated lifestyle. My mum would buy me books and things to be academic. So I was quite academic, whereas they were allowed to play and do other things, but they resented the way that I was. So it really had an impact on later in life how I made friends. So it really is so important that you're authentic and you spend the time to see who you really are. And I would say in my friendships, I'm quite intense. So I've always had maybe 10 at a time, because I don't, Yvonne's laughing because, you know, I'm very clear. When I'm your friend, I'm your friend.
Yeah, that's it.
My male friends actually she's a friend to the end. And he says it with a really sensitive voice, because if you're drowning, even though I can't swim, I'm the friend with my hand out of the edge. Hold on to my hand. I'll pull you up, because I'm intense. I'm not dropping you. Whether you're at the top of your game or you're stuck in the bottom of a pit, I'm a friend to the end. But that can be to your detriment as well, because I've had a lot of people come into my life, love it that I'm this loyal, but don't want to do their work and don't want to have that kind of discussion about why, you know, this friendship's not going right. What's going on? Not willing to go there. So I found in my later years, I'm not so worried about friendship. I'm the sort of person who says, I'm going to Stonehenge tomorrow. Does someone want to come? Okay, you all like it. Let's go. I'm going to Jamaica next year. Does someone want to come with me? No? Okay. I'll send you the pictures from Jamaica, because it may sound a bit selfish, but I'm my best friends now, because the rest of my life is really about enjoying myself. And the only way I'm going to know what makes me happy and to be authentic is to go and find it and explore. So if someone wants to come on the journey with me, thank God there's company to share it with. But if they don't, I can still go and share it on Instagram or somewhere else. But as long as I'm sitting in what it is I want in my life, then that's sort of authenticity to me.
Definitely. Hayley?
Love that. Yeah, I mean, I echo everything that everyone's already said, but just following on from Jackie, for me, I think, you know, the level at which you're able to relate to your own soul on yourself. You know, your true self is the level at which you can meet other people. So I think, as we've said, you know, the nature of our relationships change, and they're meant to change because we're learning about ourselves, because we're all mirrors, aren't we? So we're always in a relay, because that's what a relationship is, isn't it? So, you know, authenticity, what does that mean for me? Well, feeling comfortable in my own skin and not feeling judged by other people. And like you said, feeling safe, and just the level at which I've been able to authentically relate to myself and stop bullshitting myself is the level at which I've been able to be authentic. Well, it's been mirrored back at me. So I think, you know, there's so much inauthenticity, isn't there, in relationships, because people just want to fit in. We just want to fit in. That's what we're here for. We're here, you know, the mind will do anything that it needs to do to survive on this planet. So I don't know, just being, I think the main thing is really just being true to oneself. And when you're true to yourself, you're able to meet other people with that truth and call people out. I mean, authenticity, it's about speaking your truth. It's about calling your girlfriends out and saying, hey, you know, stop bullshitting yourself. I love you, I'm here for you, but get real. So, and it's about being around people that are, you know, secure in them, that they're secure enough in themselves that when you're around them, you also feel, I mean, I'm reiterating what you've just said, really, the safety thing. So, I mean, I think it's just so much about a truth and alignment. You know, we all know how it feels to be around people who are just not authentic. It's
horrible,
just, it makes your skin crawl, like you can feel it, can't you? It's like, oh, you know, it's just not, you're not vibing with it. And so it's just getting to know yourself, really, isn't it? And the nature of our relationships are different. You know, we have all kinds of different relationships, very intimate relationships. Actually, intimacy, it's the intimacy piece for me. Authenticity for me is really linked in with intimacy. So, you know, the relationships that I have that are the most authentic are intimate.
Yeah,
that's what it is. I've got it. I was kind of like trying to search for like what I'm trying to say. It's the researching. Yeah.
Into me.
Yeah, exactly.
But I love that thing about the intimacy, because it tied in with what June, I think it was, that brought it up about the safety, you know, and I hadn't even thought about the abuse of friends either, actually, because there have been some friendships that, you're right, they have felt abusive, you know, and you know, one person's banter is another person's abuse, okay? And we have to know where we draw that line for ourselves. But as you were saying, the intimacy and the safety, you know, what it brought up for me is that there have been relationships, friendships that I've been in with people that I thought we were friends. So I've provided that safety and then couldn't understand why it wasn't reciprocated. We weren't in relationship.
Right. There was
exactly.
No relay. Absolutely.
Yeah, I totally get that. But this is one of the difficult things about doing the work that we do. We're so used to holding space for other people. That people think it's okay, you know, I'll just call, you know, so and so because, you know, she's holds space. She can hold space for me. It's fine. I can dump. I can offload. You know, without she does for a living. You know,
that's what we do for our work. It's not what we do in our personal life. And I really told you, June, I really absolutely 110% applaud you for just saying that, you know, that for you the sticking point is, you know, getting close to you. You know, you need to take time because of things that have happened in your past. And I hadn't even thought about it like that either in terms of friendships. I've thought about it like that in terms of relationships, you know, intimate, loving type relationships, you know, couple relationships. But I hadn't thought about it in terms of friendship. Because one of the things for me that I found really, really hard, and Yvonne and Jackie all know this, I found it really, really hard just to be vulnerable. You know, I've just got to get on and do. I've got things to do. I've got to get on and do. Right? And that's difficult when you're in a friendship with someone, because it's so, especially if you're really in pain, you know, you're going through some stuff and someone is holding out their hand and saying, look, just take my hand, this is going to be all right. And you're like, no, it's all right, I'm fine. Yeah. Fine, I'll just bootstrap it, I'll fine. You know,
that's a Black woman thing as well, isn't it? The Black women conversation is just like, yeah, let's just crack on, like, it's fine, I'm a strong Black woman, I don't do vulnerability. You know, and also, you know, we'll put some mother wound stuff in the mix as well. It's going to be even harder for us to be vulnerable, you know, in friendships. There's so many layers to it.
It really is.
And the daddy wound, that all comes into it as well. And if you were abused, or why would you want to be vulnerable? Do you know what I mean? Why would you trust anyone? So if you don't do the work, if you don't do the shadow work in so much love and compassion, you are going to struggle being authentic, and then you're going to struggle attracting authentic people as friends. Because as you say, we are mirrors, we relate to each other. And so if you're not being authentic, it's very likely you're going to be in relationships, friendships that are just not authentic, because you're mirroring each other. And when you mirror each other, you're triggering each other, you're showing each other, this is what you need to work on. I'm showing you and you're showing me that this is what you need to work on.
Till you have learned the lessons and grown beyond the relationship. And that's why relationships change, isn't it? That's why we move on, because we outgrow, literally, relationships, certain relationships.
Absolutely. I've outgrown so many relationships.
Nice. Sorry, Teresa.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, when you're bullshitting when you're bullshitting yourself when the relationships you have make you feel like bullshit.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. No, I was just gonna say, don't you find that the more work that you do, the more we work on our shadow, our relationships change, and that's when we find. Often we find people coming into our lives and we're like, oh my God, she's so lovely, right?
Yeah.
You know, we really connect. But what's happening there is, yes, she is lovely and you do really connect. But as you said, she is the mirror to us. That's the change. That's the reflection.
And you know, it's because I've met somebody recently who's really lovely, and she just keeps going on and on to me about how lovely I am. I'm just so lovely, and this and that. And I just have to keep saying to her, what you see in me is what is in you. And I don't think she sees it in herself. So I just want to mirror that back to her. But she's a beautiful soul, really, and she does some great works within the community. So yeah, we have to take ownership and responsibility for where we're at and what it is we need to do. And this is really, really important. Just if you want that authenticity in a relationship, and be authentic with yourself, be real with yourself, as Hayley was saying, how is your relationship with yourself? Do you value yourself? And Jackie said she's her own best friend. Absolutely. I can have a party all by myself.
Exactly.
And enjoy it all by myself. You know,
to do the work. Be willing that when your friendship reaches that stage, when your friend picks up the phone and is cussing you out and you think, hey, what's going on? Be prepared to challenge that friend. Don't just say, oh, bitch, put the phone down. Because
no, but you have to challenge.
That's your mirror. what's going on now? What is it that needs to be worked on? Is it your stuff or is it her stuff? And if it's her stuff, are you going to hold that space, or do you want her to see what she's doing and recognize it and come back and evolve the friendship? Because a friendship doesn't have to end because of that. It can evolve from that.
It doesn't.
It depends.
It does depend. How do you? I have a question there. So how do you end the friendships then?
Love.
Love. Exactly. Love.
Love. Yeah.
You know, it has to be love, but so there are situations, as we know, because we've all either seen them or been in them.
Yeah.
A friendship it's come to an end for whatever reason. You know, it's come to its natural end, and you're there being all love and light, okay, but they can't recognize that. They can't, for whatever reason, they cannot recognize that. They either want to go down the cuss route, or they want to go down the, oh, you think you're better than
me.
The blame route. You know, so we're in situations like that. What have you done?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to. What I was trying to think, because it's not the same when in love relationships. Obviously, we've all been there. We've done stuff like that, but there's something about ending the friendship relationship that just feels like painful and just I don't know. I think it's worse. I think the same is worse.
But I think it's about maturity as well.
Absolutely. You know, I remember ending a friendship in 2016, and I think I just left the place because we had booked a what's it called? A hotel for New Year's and stuff. There was a group of us, and there was just really bad behaving, and I just thought I cannot and will not put up with this anymore. So I just left, and I didn't, even though I paid for my space, I didn't stay. And then there was some text messages, and I was just quite upset. And I just said, I can't do this anymore. And then was it a few months or a year later or so, we saw each other in public, and she couldn't come to terms with the fact that we didn't say hello, or I didn't say hello to her. It was like we never knew each other. So she then messaged me and said she needed closure. So we met up and we had closure. And you know, she was kind of hoping that we could get back on. I said, but I am now this person that will not put up with nonsense. I'm no longer eating on my feelings like I used to do. So I will see things that I never used to see before. I will call you out on your bullshit. And if you can't take that, then there's no point in us being friends, because I cannot be that old person anymore. And that's how we ended and we had the closure, and that was that. And it was fine. And I think it is, you just have to be mature about it. Very mature. And you've got to stand up for what is right for you, because that is being authentic.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And being able to communicate well is all part of the maturity, because many people cannot communicate. They don't listen, and they can't communicate.
Yeah.
So part of the authenticity is being able to do those two things well.
And when you say listen, you don't listen to somebody ready with your answer. You listen. You just listen to what they say. Make sure you understand what it is they're saying, and then you come back with what it is you need to express.
Yeah.
So it's a response rather than
reacting. Yeah, exactly. Rather than you back and forth.
Absolutely.
Take a step back and respond to what you just heard.
Yeah.
Taking responsibility.
Yeah.
Instead of the blame, game, shame, which play, don't they?
And you know, and this is why it's really important as well for us to be emotionally intelligent. Because how are you going to express yourself if you're not emotionally intelligent? But
that's my point, because sometimes you get into those situations where you're responsible, you're self-aware, you can communicate, you know, love and light, and the other person, for whatever reason, can't see that. Okay. Can't. So in that situation, I have been accused of, you know, being sanctimonious. Oh, you think the best thing. You know, what you really mean is, that's that whole thing about not listening to what people actually say. I'm quite well known as saying what I mean. You know, I very rarely, I'm not perfect, but I very rarely use the wrong words. You know, I'm very clear about what I say, and I mean what I say. You know, I'm not known for just saying stuff off the top of my head. You know, I'm quite considered, but some people don't like that. So what I've learned over the years is just to literally say, do you know what, sweetheart? I totally understand. I hope you understand where I'm coming from, but I just think it's best that we just stop this for now. Yeah. Let's just, you know, very recently, just over Christmas, it broke my heart, actually. A 30, 40 plus year, over 40 year friendship came to an end. It wasn't with it wasn't with a woman. It was actually with one of my male friends, and it was heartbreaking for me. But he couldn't listen. He couldn't hear me. He just couldn't hear me. And I'm not saying his point was not valid, because he did have a valid point. But we both had valid points. Yeah. So what I had to say, because it was just going to go around in circles, as you were saying, Hayley, you know, that blame and shame and guilt, you know, that to me is not helpful. So I literally ended the phone call and I said, look, I'm really sorry, hon, that we can't come to an agreement on this, because you feel how you feel, I feel how I feel, and that's fine. So why don't we just park it for now? Let's take some time, and hopefully we can revisit this in a few weeks, or however long it takes. We'll come back to it, okay? And I thought I was being responsible and mature. And the following morning, I got a really nasty text. It was a block and delete.
Yeah. It takes.
But that just. No, sorry. That just proves the point that when somebody reacts like that, they're just reacting from their hurt little child. Yeah. So the only thing you can do in that situation, because if you go back with another considered response, that's just going to throw more fuel to the fire.
Exactly. So, that's the point, though, Teresa. We have to get to that point where we cut that cycle, not necessarily cut cut the cycle, because, like you say, otherwise you're just getting this perpetual argument. You're just continually arguing.
Exactly.
Heard, and my voice is louder, and who wants that?
Nobody. But the only way to transmute the energy in that situation is send as much compassion as you can to that hurt little child, and that's literally all you can do.
Yeah. Because I guess that's that healthy boundary, not responding. Okay, I see you. Thank you. Goodbye.
Exactly.
Yes. It takes a certain amount of courage and strength and conviction to walk a path of truth. It's not for the faint-hearted, because we all talk about authenticity, but it's not that easy, actually. And people can't stand the heat, like you were saying, Gail. And as we're growing and expanding, we're going to have to leave people behind.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you can't keep up, then I'm sorry. You know, I know where I'm going.
Exactly.
I know that sounds a bit harsh, so I'm sorry.
Shay.
No, nothing to be sorry about. It's not harsh.
It's not harsh. It's the reality.
Exactly.
It's the truth. It's not harsh. Exactly. Because we are going to leave people behind. Just like, look, there are some people who've left me behind, okay?
Right.
They're on their path. Yeah. And they've left me, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Fine. Because it's not a race either, is it? It's not a race.
No, exactly.
It's not about like, I'm here, you're there. No. No, we're just the people who need to be near you are near you. The people who aren't meant to be are just not there. We don't need to worry about anything else. And that's the thing. You get to a certain point in your life where you just let go and you just accept that I am where I am, and the people who are near me in a circle, that's all I need. We don't, life's very simple, isn't it? But we want to kind of like hold on to things and like, you know, but once we let go and just keep letting go and shedding and shredding.
Exactly. And the truth comes from here, right? So your truth is in your heart and you feel your truth.
Yes.
Like if you're thinking that your truth is such and such and blah, 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 that this is all blah, 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 right? You feel your truth. So if it feels expansive to you, if you literally feel like, then that's your truth, regardless of what anybody tells you. If it makes you feel contracted, then it's not your truth. And it's best to let go of that before the universe bitch slaps a lesson for you.
Oh, doesn't she just? Doesn't she? Anytime you think that you're kind of crawling back, I think, oh, maybe she didn't mean it like that. Or no, maybe I've taken it the wrong way. The universe just reminds you. Let me show you who she is now. You wouldn't listen before. I'm going to show you who
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That fantasy is something that, you know, can hold you in friendships that you stay in way longer than you're supposed to. And sometimes the fear of, okay, well, if I let go of the friendship, then what's going to happen to me? You know, am I going to be walking this path by myself? And, you know, and you just have to, like you said, you just have to surrender and trust the process, because like you said, Teresa, you have to let go of things in order for new stuff to come in. And it doesn't mean, you know, that you're being mean to that person or that you think you're better than that person. It's not that. It's just that when you grow, it's a natural part of it. It becomes quite painful to stay in those friendships that are just you're just not in alignment with them anymore. It's been excruciating for me to let go, because I want to rescue them.
Exactly.
I want to hold on to them. I'm like, this is really good. Please, don't therapy. But you just have to let them go. And I've just had to let them go because I just can't.
It is sad.
Oh gosh, it's always, it's never painless. You know.
Exactly.
Regardless of even, you know, unfortunately, I've had a lot of betrayal in my life. You know, lots of betrayal. But each time I've learned and I've grown just a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. But it's never any less painful. It's still
it's painful.
Still painful. It's still hurtful. You know, and I would much rather break up with a boyfriend than break up with, you know, a best friend or one of my really close girlfriends. But I've had to do that a few times. And it has been one of the most excruciating things I've been through, because I think it's worse because with our girlfriends or even our male friends who are close to us but not intimate in that way, we share so much of ourselves. We share, you know, that vulnerability. We talk about really trusting somebody with you know, your innards, literally. You know, this is what it feels like, isn't it? You really trust that person, and you love that person, and it's that kind of real deep love, you know, because it transcends beyond a physical relationship. So when you then have to let that go, that's painful, man.
Because then you have to redefine yourself. It's like, who am I? Who am I? And that's the question we've got to continuously keep asking ourselves. Who am I? You know, who am I in relationship to these people? What are the dynamics? And it's well, that's what we're here for, isn't it? To discover that, you know, who am I? Know thyself.
Supposed to be fun though. It's not supposed to be.
It doesn't have to be hard work.
Have lots of fun with it, you know, because the more you just discover who you are, the more you realize that fundamentally we are all love. We are all bundles of love in different ways, shapes and form. So just get to know yourself more. Come into your heart space, enjoy yourself. Yes, we all have shadow work to do, but do it in love. Just do it in love. Do not judge yourself. Be loving and compassionate and nurturing when you do that work, and release that stuff so that you do become more authentically you, and then you attract more authentic people, and have fun. It doesn't have to be a miserable existence at all. Have fun. We don't have to get psychotic. We don't have to get all, neurotic with people and all. No, it's not necessary. We don't. No, that's 3D stuff.
Exactly.
3D stuff.
Exactly.
No.
We're in 5th dimension now. We've moved on. Remember, this is the age of Aquarius as well.
Yeah. And order what you want. Even when your friend says, "Oh, I'm actually vegan," and you look at the menu and you think, "I want that steak." Order that steak.
Unapologetically. Unapologetically.
So what if they're vegan? That's got nothing to do with me.
Order the rare steak and eat it, and don't apologize.
Yeah.
And
what about your bowels? I'm joking. I'm sure that's a little vegan joke there. I hear what you're saying.
Be yourself. My granny always used to say it. Be yourself. But it's the hardest thing for people to do because they don't know who themselves is.
Yeah.
They don't know themselves, that's why.
Every day. Test it every day. When you wake up in the morning, what do I want now? Do I have a boiled egg, or do I have 2 egg white omelets? Because I'm not sure actually. Let me try the 2 egg white omelet and see if I like that. Have those conversations with self and laugh.
Absolutely, Jackie.
Fun.
Yeah.
We do this.
When I speak to Gail, I can say, "Oh my God, Gail, I didn't know I like 2 egg white omelets," and she'd be like, "I've been having that." And we're laughing. It's something really simple, but I'm laughing at myself and with myself.
Yeah.
It's so true, because people do it in their business. They'll do it for their business. People come to me all the time because they don't know themselves, or they can't express themselves in their business and all kinds of stuff. And so they're willing to do that. And they're always surprised when I take them back to, well, what is it you really love? What is it you really want? And they think, well, I just want to focus on my business. Well, we can't focus on that part until we focus on you first, because without you, there is no business. So you're absolutely right, Jackie. We need to take that time to really get to know ourselves. Who are we really? And explore. I've recently gone gluten-free, as you know, dairy-free, sugar-free. If anyone had said to me before that I would be able, especially sugar-free, I'd be like, don't be swearing in my house. Right? That's just not, especially I'm a baker, so there's no way I'm going to be gluten and sugar-free. So don't come to me with that kind of foolishness. However, I'm proud to say, it wasn't, I can't even say it was a transition, because it wasn't. It was easy, fun, relaxed, simple, done. Okay. And now here I am, a month down the road now, don't even think about it. It's not any hardship, don't miss it. It's just, but I'm having such fun exploring and discovering new things, different ways of preparing my food, different ways of baking, you can still bake. Just use different things, I've discovered xanthan gum, great stuff. So it's fun. It's fun when we explore. And it's that element. Jackie touched on it earlier on, where she said that she's her own best friend. I have such a good time with myself, right? Tanya's not listening to this because I know what she's going to be thinking, self-separation. But anyhow, but I have a really good time with myself, and I've always been looking for the friendships that replicate that. You know, so why wouldn't I?
That's powerful.
Yep. So ladies, we've had a really great discussion. We've got like 7 minutes left. So I guess what are your final tips? So you've got about a minute each to just, tell the audience your final tips for, fostering authentic relationships and what it means to you. What can you offer them?
Yeah, well, just following on with Jackie and Gail, becoming my own best friend was an absolute game changer. And I suffered from clinical depression for at least 20 years, right? So becoming my own best friend, massive game changer. Because when you're your own best friend, it's easier to set your boundaries with love and not feel obliged to do anything else. Feeling obligation is a telltale sign that you're people pleasing.
Yeah.
Right. Which again is going to affect your own self-worth and self-esteem. And just loving on yourself as much as possible. Because when you're your own best friend, you're only going to attract more best friends.
Sure. Beautiful. Yeah, absolutely.
Keep it healthy, really just keeping that relationship healthy in terms of having clear boundaries, being able to speak your truth, and as Jackie says, not apologizing for it either. And I think we've got just enough time. Jackie and I had a conversation, and I love this, and I've used this so many times in examples because it's just such a great example. Jackie and I had a conversation a few weeks ago, and I kid you not, it wasn't until after I put down the phone that I thought, I think Jackie and I were disagreeing. I don't think we were agreeing because it was such a beautiful conversation, and I can't even remember the full details of what it was about, but she was challenging me on something, and she said something that I didn't like. And I just said, I don't think that's true. I don't think that's fair. That's what I said. I said, I don't think that's fair, Jackie. And she said, well, I'm glad you mentioned that because I hadn't thought of it like that. And we were having this conversation back and forth, which was at no stage were any voices raised. At no stage was there anything personal or defensive. Sometimes you can feel nothing at all. And we carried on talking about other things as normal, put down the phone, and I thought, Jackie and I disagreed.
Beautiful.
And that's what I mean about keeping it healthy.
Yeah, lovely. Love that. It's so important, isn't it, that you can have the disagreements in such a loving and compassionate way. That's true friendship,
I would just like to reiterate the importance of just checking in with yourself about how safe the friendship is. And I suppose maybe to define safety, it's about just checking in. How do you feel around this person? Do you find yourself having to censor the conversation because you think the other person might get upset if they get jealous or whatever? Are you scared to be yourself? Are you scared to, oh no, I can't really say that because she's going to think that of me? Are you scared that they're going to shame you or judge you if you say something? Those are examples of what it means to feel unsafe in a friendship. So if you're having too many of those inner dialogue conversations with somebody that's supposed to be your friend, then maybe you need to think about, is that person really my friend?
Very good point.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Jackie, Hayley?
Okay, I was just going to add, don't be afraid to be Marmite. You're not everyone, and you shouldn't be trying to be everyone's cup of tea. Don't worry if you're a bit strange and don't fit in, because your tribe is out there. And the more you try to fit into one crowd, it's a waste of your energy and time. Just sit in your own space and you'll attract the right people. You'll attract the people that understand what you're saying, how you're saying it, and why you're saying it, and they won't be offended. And if you do find yourself in that situation where, as June just said, walk away as quickly as you can, because otherwise you get tied up in it and you can't find a way out. But just recognize, you know what, I'm not going to spend too much time with this person because it's too much like hard work, and it's not supposed to be hard work. So my favorite thing is, don't worry if you're Marmite's still a bestseller.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Love
Love that.
Yeah, I love
I
that.
understand Marmite, but there are people who absolutely adore it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is actually what I was going to say. Be yourself. Really simple. Just be yourself.
Yeah.
That's it. Just be yourself.
Thank you.
Don't need to change for anybody.
And you know, so being yourself, get to know yourself. Get to know what you really like. Who are you really? Don't pretend to like pink when actually you like blue. You know, just be who you are, love who you are, accept who you are. Get rid of your ego, because sometimes the ego does protect us, and it's kind of like a necessary thing. So make friends with your ego. No, don't get rid of it. Make friends with it and allow it to show you more of who you are, more of what you like, so that you can be authentic. And in that way, you can attract the authentic people in your life. Do not be afraid to let go of friendships, because when you let go, you make space for someone else to come in that space. Someone who's more your tribe, someone who's more on your wavelength, where you are at the moment. Just keep loving on yourself, dance like no one's watching you, and enjoy your life.
And enjoy.
Enjoy your life.
Enjoy.
Watch the miracles happen.
Yes.
Hey. So, my beautiful people, thank you so much for tuning into The Goddesses. As per usual, this video will be on our YouTube channel and also on our website, Goddesses of the Round Table, and you can catch it on replay on Facebook. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you, ladies. Oh, and we're sending out some love vibes to our other goddess, Judy, who is in the Gambia right now. So Judy, we love you. We miss you. And good night, everybody. Thank you. Good night. Thanks, ladies. Thanks, June, Jackie, Hayley, Teresa, and Gail. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.